Alright, so we just got a lot of news about the Walking Dead universe and what's gonna happen going forward in regards of the Walking Dead Season 12 or a crossover spin-off or a reunion show, whatever you call it. So in today's video, I'm just gonna be explaining everything that's been going on for the past 2-3 days, providing my own theories and explaining what's going on and what could we possibly see within the next year to 2 years. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first of all, I want to talk about the recent AMC and Netflix deal that's been going on, right? And I did predict this like a month or two ago, ever since Netflix bought HBO and Warner Brothers. And I basically predicted that, they may come for AMC or even The Walking Dead next, and apparently those deals are happening behind closed doors. And it says in this tweet by @TV The Walking Dead, AMC Executive Director Christine Dolan stated that the AMC and Netflix agreement for the broadcast rights of the original series for The Walking Dead is nearing completion, and confirmed that there are currently negotiations for renewal in a deal that could reach $300 million US. In case the deal does not go through, the broadcast rights for The Walking Dead may be sold to another platform such as Hulu or HBO Max. And yeah, this is crazy, right? Because I knew that, after I saw Netflix buying Warner Brothers, it was obvious that, something related to AMC was going to happen, and it's sooner than I thought, right? And this is crazy because, first of all, they're making a deal for the broadcasting rights of the original series, and then they're currently doing negotiations for renewal. Renewal meaning that they're renewing The Walking Dead for another season. Now that's crazy. That's just absolutely insane because there have been so many rumors that The Walking Dead is going to get a season 12. Now, before we didn't know if it was just going to be named something else or if it was officially going to be called The Walking Dead season 12, but by the looks of it, it very well could be called The Walking Dead season 12 and it could be exclusive to Netflix. Now, of course, this could go good or bad, right? Netflix is known for botching a lot of stuff. For example, WWE hasn't really been the same quality ever since it came to Netflix. And also Stranger Things, right? I don't even want to explain all of that because that was just a dumpster fire for season 5. So you could look at it either way, but it proves that The Walking Dead has a great fan base and really good viewerships on Netflix, that they're willing to renew the rights, right? The broadcasting rights for the original series onto Netflix, because I stated in my previous video that The Walking Dead main show has over, I believe, 500 million hours of watch time on Netflix. So of course it is desirable. It's a desirable product that they want to invest in. And now they're renewing The Walking Dead for season 12 and getting it exclusively onto Netflix because, of course, if the original series has 500 million hours of watch time altogether, it's been topping the charts for so long, right? The Walking Dead has been on Netflix top 10 for like a while now, right? For a couple of months. It makes sense that they want to renew it for another season and just attach it with the main show, right? So they could keep that train running, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it definitely means that they're working on a crossover spin-off sooner rather than later. And there have been some pictures here and there in I believe in front of the Grimes house, right? Or the Grimes gate, right? I'm not too sure where this came from. I don't even have a proper screenshot of it, but I heard from a lot of people right now. I saw on Twitter here and there that apparently some sort of tour guide or something like that, I believe her name is Jen Centric on Twitter, right? I wasn't able to find her Twitter and I wasn't able to find the post, but a lot of people are talking about it. And what she basically said is that she went to the Walking Dead studio in Sonoya, and I believe that she was taking pictures of Grimes Gate or something, and the person who was in front of that door was not allowing her to take a picture, right? Or something like that, or she wasn't able to go inside the house or the studio because they're having pre-production meetings. Now, pre-production meetings could mean for a reunion season or a crossover series, and they're gearing up to, to make it, right? They're having some meetings of what to do, or they probably got some actors together and they're just discussing some things as to shooting dates and stuff like that and script stuff. So it's very exciting, right? It's so close that we're going to get a Walking Dead season 12 or a crossover spinoff. And also with this news of Netflix potentially buying The Walking Dead, right, like the rights, and also renewing it, it's very well possible that this deal went through already behind closed doors. And now they're just gearing up, to get this thing ready. I mean, of course, the Netflix deal probably still didn't go through, right? And they're just having pre-production meetings, and they're just going off of AMC's roadmap as to what to do, and they're just going according to schedule, right? Because of course we saw proof that Andrew Lincoln is in talks currently to come back as Rick Grimes. And also Scott Gimple met with Andrew Lincoln a couple of months back. Also Denai Guerrero was in London and she met with Andrew Lincoln. So all signs are pointing towards Andrew Lincoln coming back as Rick Grimes and us potentially getting an announcement of some sorts in the next couple of weeks. And of course, the Netflix deal could affect this, or it can't affect this whatsoever. Because of course, it seems like that Netflix wants to make another season for The Walking Dead, right? They want to make a reunion season, a crossover series. So they're just going according to plan. Maybe they're ahead of schedule, right? Maybe they were meant to do this much later on. But because of this Netflix deal behind closed doors, they're just gearing up for this thing. And I did say in my video previously that within the next couple of years, Netflix may have a deal with AMC, right? Just to buy AMC entirely because of the whole Warner Brothers negotiations. Now, this is much, much earlier than I expected. So it seems like that Netflix might be spearheading this crossover spinoff. And now, if Netflix does buy The Walking Dead, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever to their plans, right? And of course, it's not 100% confirmed if Netflix is going to buy The Walking Dead and what extent does this deal go on to, right? Will they own The Walking Dead entirely, right? Including just merchandising and everything like that, which I don't really believe that would be the case. But if it is, then, it could be a very bad thing for AMC. But yet again, if they're willing to make this deal, right? If Netflix is willing to go to AMC to make this deal, then of course, The Walking Dead is a very desirable product to them. Right? They're willing to spend $300 million just on this property alone. So yeah, I think that they have been seeing fan backlash and fan opinions on the whole spinoffs and everything like that. And also this ties in directly to Dead City Season 3 being delayed. What if they have a whole change in their plans when it comes to the Walking Dead roadmap and they're just going for this reunion, right? They're just going for this crossover spinoff. And there have been a lot of stuff the past couple of days of actors also teasing that, maybe we might come together again. And also, of course, how I mentioned before in my previous videos, we had a very trusted industry insider, Daniel RPK, right? I believe him 100% because he's probably the most trustworthy insider out there on Twitter, right? He's the most trusted source. And he did say that AMC is in talks to make a reunion show for The Walking Dead. And now when you have all this proof and evidence of, them being in pre-production for something new, right, and at Grimes Gate, and also this whole deal with Netflix and them renewing another season for The Walking Dead, right, the original show, it's very well possible that we could get multiple seasons of The Walking Dead, right? Maybe it just might not even be season 12, it might be 13, 14, 15, God knows how much, but with that Netflix money, right, they could do God knows how much, right? They could get all these actors back. They could pay them all. They could make them willing to play these characters for longer, which is very, very exciting. And now when it comes to an announcement, right? Now this doesn't really tie in much into the AMC deal, but there have been a lot of rumors ever since, this rumor really began to pick up steam, that we're going to be getting an announcement very, very soon. And now very soon could mean anything, right? It could mean Comic-Con, it could mean next month, it could mean anything at all. But my bets are going on Comic-Con. I think we're going to get an announcement of Season 12 for The Walking Dead at Comic-Con. And it's going to be very exciting because we're potentially going to get Andrew Lincoln coming up on stage with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Norman Reedus, and they announce the new Walking Dead season or crossover spin-off. Now, of course, I think that Netflix sees that it's better to make it a continuation of the original show, right? So when you turn on Netflix, you go into The Walking Dead, instead of 11 seasons, you see 12 seasons of The Walking Dead. And of course, this reflects their massive watch time hours for the original show. And I think that they just want to keep it that way, right? They want to keep all that traction onto that original show. And so then when people watch it from season 1, they could go all the way down to season 12 instead of going back and then searching up the new crossover spinoff or just whatever, right? Then they would have to rebrand everything. They would have to call it a new title. So yeah, I know that season 11 was promoted as the final season for The Walking Dead, but I mean, there's no harm in making it season 12, right? It's really not going to make much of a difference. As long as these characters come together and we have a huge moment with all these characters together, and if it's a proper follow-up to that post-credit scene of season 11, not really post-credit scene, but like the ending of season 11, where Rick Grimes was there with his hands up in front of the helicopter, then I think it'd be very good to see that, right? Then you see like a direct continuation of that, and then you see that Rick Grimes finally made it back home, and then you could have a direct link, on Netflix that you could watch The Ones Who Live, because I think that if they're renewing their deal with AMC for putting The Walking Dead up there, I think that counts all the spin-offs as well. So if you have everything The Walking Dead into one space, then I think that's very, very beneficial. So they would treat the spin-offs as their own thing, right? Each individual character having their own story and their own arc in different sections. And then when it comes to all the characters together, you just put that into The Walking Dead itself. I think that's pretty genius. But it just depends if Netflix does this right and if AMC doesn't really make much of a change in their plans. But that pre-production thing really got me excited, right? Because that something's happening behind closed doors, and that's the filming location for The Walking Dead. So it's very well possible that we might see Andrew Lincoln on set in the next couple of weeks, which is extremely exciting. And now, yet again, like how I said before, I think this is going to be announced at Comic-Con, but it could also be announced in another month or two, right? Probably very, very soon. It might get attached to Daryl Dixon's trailer, right? Daryl Dixon season 4's trailer, when they premiere that, then maybe they have some sort of announcement in place alongside that trailer, because I think that would generate a lot of fan hype. And like how I said before in my previous videos, it will get people back into The Walking Dead. It will restore some faith back into this series, right? Because if Netflix buys them or not, it doesn't really matter, but they're already in pre-production for something new, so they have to make it some sort of announcement very, very soon. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.